welcome to Issues of the Moment, your favorite program where we discuss nothing but, of course, issues of the moment. I am Eunice Johnson, and today we will be discussing the state of the nation. I have a guest. He is no other than Muyiwa Olumilua. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Oh, state of the nation, that's actually encompassing. Maybe we should start off on this note. How prepared would you say the APC is for the general elections in 2019, considering that is like the issue people are really bothered about?
Well, I'm sure you know that the APC is always ready. The APC is always ready.
Nice one.
Truly, we've had issues, in the past few months regards the party primaries all over the country. We have accusations and counter-accusations, about maybe lack of fair play, what have you, due to the fact that we had direct primaries in some states, we had indirect primaries in other states. But right now the dust has settled. We're back together, one big strong family, and we're ready to take on whoever comes.
Okay, but you know that recently flooding headlines has been the issue of the embattled APC chairman. What's your take on the matter?
The problems we have is the power of the governors. The governors are so powerful, and they believe that whatever they want, they should get. So that is why the APC chairman is having issues with a lot of governors that are not too happy with the choice of candidates.
Oh, okay, that is like the bone of contention.
That's the major issue we have.
Okay.
So I mean, in any contest, just like I contested, for primaries in my own state, there has to be a winner and there will be losers. So we should learn to be good sportsmen in Nigeria. If you lose an election, then just accept it as your fate and move on. You see, the party is supreme. We have to, go along the lines of whatever the party dictates. Not foolishly, so to speak, but all the same. In the spirit of sportsmanship.
And maturity.
If you lose an election, then, well, so be it.
So are you saying that to some extent it is them not really wanting to take things as it comes? Like they want it to be the way they want it to be?
That's what I believe.
Okay, moving on to, still on the elections, INEC released the voters register recently, and there's been some issues of this, apart from the fact that some are saying, okay, a wrong date of birth, missing names, discrepancies, So what's your take? What do you think is responsible for this in the first place?
Well, I believe, INEC is supposed to publish whatever is sent to them. So I want to clear INEC. INEC won't manufacture dates of birth and things like that. Whatever is sent to them from the parties is what INEC is going to publish. Unless there is some error on the part of INEC in publishing the information they were given, then I think INEC should be left out of the blame game. The parties have a lot of work to do. In some cases, compilation of results, compilation of names, data, so to speak, has been a bit shoddy. So I think we need to go back and rejig the process, retweak it to make sure we avoid things like this in the coming years. INEC should be kept out of this.
Oh really? So even though there were said to be names of expatriates and dead people on the list, you still think that INEC should not be faulted for this?
Now, we're talking about the list of candidates, right?
Yes.
I mean, will INEC publish names just like that?
There's a source.
There's a source. It's like coming to the TV station and you ask me for certain information. Whatever I give you is what you're going to announce.
Exactly.
So the only blame INEC can be held liable for is the fact that maybe they didn't go back to verify. Are these candidates actually true? Are they alive? Like you said, some are dead. Well, are they actually alive and all that? But I don't really think that should be INEC's business. If the parties have done a good job, then we won't have a situation like that in the first place.
Okay. Actually, perhaps we should go over that question again. This is more or less like voters, people who want to vote. It was a register.
Okay, the
For
voters
those
register.
who wanted to,
Oh.
exactly, after all the registration and everything had been carried out. So it was INEC bringing out the names of those who are eligible to vote.
Okay.
And then some are saying there are missing names, there are mistakes in date of birth, some are saying dead people's names are there, expatriates and all of that. Why should that be? Should we still not blame INEC for that?
Well, yes, INEC should be blamed for that. If we talk about the voters register is something that should be updated from time to time. You know, but we have situations where maybe 2 weeks to the elections, a man dies. There's no way INEC will know. His name is on the register. He has registered valid. He's a bona fide voter. Let's put it that way. But he died. The fact that his name is on the register is not INEC's fault. But you see, what INEC should actually, look into is the fact where you have a voter that has my face and has Mike Tyson as the name and Fisherman. You know, there's some cases, I remember.
Funny illustration.
Oh,
there.
yes, a while back, you had Mike Tyson's face captured and registered. I think it was in Ondo State. Yes, it was in Ondo State. Then he had the name, the picture of Mike Tyson, the name Mike Tyson there, occupation, fisherman, and all that. And you wonder, when did Mike Tyson become a registered voter in Nigeria and start fishing, So these are the issues where I believe INEC has, problems. Then we've looked at, the case of underage voters. That, there's been a lot of, hue and cry about that in the north, where they said, people under 15 were voting or were registering, to vote. So that, in that case, that is INEC's problem.
Okay.
That is INEC's baby. They should be more, more thorough and more professional about that job.
Exactly. Now, speaking on the unusual search of former vice president, now the presidential candidate for PDP, I'm talking about Atiku Abubakar. This didn't seem to go down well with Nigerians. It's more or less like there's more to it. Now, what's your take on the matter?
Well, thank you very much. You see, the truth of the matter is that it is what it is. Now, Alhaji Abubakar Atiku, he is not the vice president right now. He was the vice president. Right now, he's an ordinary citizen, though an elder statesman. Some respect should be accorded to him, which I believe is being accorded to him due to his position in the country. But that does not stop the fact that he should be searched whenever he comes into the country. The only people I believe that do not get searched are the president and the vice president. I've seen
for very understandable reasons.
Oh yes, very understandable reasons. I've seen ministers being searched before, boarding airplanes. I've been on the same flights with governors, and we'll be on the same queue. They'll search them before they go into the plane. So I believe it's just standard procedure. I don't think they're trying to slight Vice President Atiku Abubakar, or they're trying to rubbish him. Now, searching his plane, I don't think there's anything overhanded about that. As long as he was not rough-handled or disrespected, then a search is a search.
So it's nothing necessarily political or no strings attached.
I don't believe so. I'm sure if Dangote flies into this country on his plane, when he comes in, he's going to be searched. And most likely the aircraft will be searched as well. But you see, we always attach one thing or the other, sentiments to issues like that. I don't believe Alhaji Atiku was disrespected.
Okay, it's more or less like they were actually doing the needful.
That's it.
Okay, moving on. President Buhari recently visited France, and then he also had meetings with foreign investors and all of that. Now, what do you think this would do for Nigeria?
Well, foreign trips like that definitely are for a certain purpose. was not just for the fun of it. Because I mean, right now the weather is so cold, so I don't think a man of his age who just want to go and play around in the cold,
Fun trip.
he'll just go for a fun trip. You see, there is no way we can build the economy of this nation without having what we call FDI. FDI, by that I mean foreign direct investments. It is absolutely necessary. So trips like that are supposed to, further strengthen our ties with other countries, to bring in, investments into Nigeria. So, I mean, it was a right step in the right direction.
All right, at this point, we'll take a quick break and go right into the street to find out the opinion of Nigerians on the search of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar's plane. Stay with us.
You don't have right to search him if he's coming back from the country. Understand? You don't have right to search him. That's his own personality. It does not mean that since his vote is contesting for presidentship. Understand? You don't have to meet him when he's in Nigeria, coming out from the States, to start searching his private jets to find what are you looking for.
I think the airport authorities are just carrying out their usual routine check. I don't see it as anything targeted at defacing or demining the presidential aspirant of the PDP.
Interesting contributions there from Nigerians. You get to hear lots and lots of opinions concerning issues like this. But moving on, still on the search, I want to believe that, like you said, the security agents were actually doing their job. But what's this talk about the minister, one minister being part of the search and the other thing, like them actually going the extra mile to make sure that the search was thorough than normal?
Thank you. Well, what I believe is that, once anything happens in Nigeria, then some people add onions, add pepper, put small Maggi, spice the whole thing up and make it look really delicious. Now, I think it is way, way beneath a minister to, board their flights, to start searching for something.
It's demeaning, actually.
It's demeaning. The gap between a security agent and the minister is so wide. So why would he climb up the plane, rush inside to go and search it? You see, Nigerians will always add something extra. They spice up stories. They make it, really, attention grabbing. I heard that rumor, but I know it is not true. It cannot be true. The Minister of State cannot search a plane. It's way, way beneath him.
Okay, let's just probably dismiss it as a rumor, like you said. There's one very, very funny, perhaps we should say laughable issue that Nigerians that has been making the rounds amidst Nigerians, and the fact that ever since the president, went for his medical treatment for quite some time, came back, that he was cloned, or possibly not the real president. So are we looking at President Buhari whenever he's addressing us, or somebody else in his body?
Well, it's one of the most laughable things I've heard in a long time. You see, I've heard people say that, no, it is one Abdul-Jabbar from Sudan or something, that no, it's not him. Some people say, no, it's not Abdul-Jabbar, that he was cloned. First and foremost, I don't think any human being has been successfully cloned anywhere.
It's just been those scientific
things. Yeah, I've heard of Dolly the sheep and some other funny things, but to clone a whole human being, especially a 74-year-old human being, will be a really, really difficult thing. Then secondly, now this man left the shores of Nigeria a very ill man. He came back, recovered better. So of course you can't expect him to look the same way. Now December last year I fell ill. I was very ill. I lost about 15 kilograms. Somebody saw a picture I took around that time, I saw it on Facebook. He's outside the country now, called me and said, what happened? You've lost so much weight. Was it the campaigns, this, that? And I said, no, I was ill. Now, if you put that picture, my December picture with my
And
picture now,
juxtapose with
juxtapose, I won't look like the same person. So does that mean I was cloned? You see, it is really silly. Now, some people have now gone ahead to say that Atiku that went to Dubai has been arrested, and it's another Atiku that they brought that he has been cloned, that is something from Gambia. You see, Nigerians like to make
fictitious.
you see, it is really silly. I mean, I don't believe that the person we have here is a clone. That is still the same Muhammad Buhari.
Actually, what's running through my mind right now
What?
is the thought of talking to the cloned you.
I can imagine what the clone me will say to you. So
Oh my
it's just a big joke,
Yeah, one of those things just to, put smiles on our faces.
I think it's just like comic relief.
So
It
to say.
can be something serious. You understand? It's good. It makes a good read on Facebook. If you want to unwind a bit, yes, go there and read. Everybody is one clone or the other. I've even heard that this Nnamdi Kanu, that he died in Operation Python dance.
Exactly,
That
yeah,
is clone that's in
Okay,
Israel.
so if we have so many clone Nigerians, then we don't know what's
Who
going
knows
to be
whether
happening.
this is the clone of Eunice that I used to know?
Wow, it's an interesting one, and we could go on and on with the cloning process.
Yes.
So that means even if one leader dies, then you could as well bring a cloned version to continue
Exactly.
ruling.
That's what they're saying. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Still back to how prepared APC is, considering there are lots and lots of issues that have been coming up, with regards to the nation generally. And one would think that because of that, the confidence of Nigerians might gradually be lowered, considering with regards to how prepared the APC would be for the 2019 elections. Do you think Nigerians have lost hope in the party in the first place?
I don't want to believe that. You see, the truth of the matter. You see, I'm an APC person. I'm 100% loyal to APC, but I'm not an idiot. The fact remains that the goodwill that we came into power with when we first started is not as much now as it was then. Nigerians are always on the lookout for a messiah. Someone who is going to, turn white to black, turn black to white, and
like magic.
like magic.
Happens.
It has to happen, and it has to happen now. But you see, development is a process. Economic success is a process. It happens gradually. It can't just happen overnight. Now we're talking about an economy that has been battered. Take a look at what is happening in Venezuela. For those who don't know, Venezuela is going through an inflationary rate of 150,000%.
What?
I'm not saying 100%. I'm not saying 1,000%. 150,000%. It's unbelievable.
Alarming, actually.
It is beyond alarming. Now, why did that happen? Because the economy was managed badly. During the $140 per barrel days, Venezuela was like, don't worry, the money is there. Now, without the money, they can't meet the demands of the economy anymore. And it has crashed and burnt. The same would have happened to Nigeria. That's the truth. The economy was mismanaged during the time of plenty. That is why Nigeria has, Nigeria at that point in time, instead of, increasing the foreign reserve, they depleted it.
So it was more or less like a lot was taken for granted.
A lot was taken for granted. During that period of the boom, Saudi Arabia saved excess revenue of $900 billion. Excess. That's apart from what the benchmark for where money flies around, government money is in one bank, nobody knows where the money is.
Yeah, they complain of corruption and then...
That is it. Now we want to get rid of corruption, but we want to maintain corrupt practices. How does that relate?
So it's more or less like you would say they used the first phase to find a footing.
Yes.
And clear the air for for doing something better, having cleared all the dust and everything.
Exactly, the debris. Yes, they can now build on what they've done. You see, even as it is, apart from, stabilizing the economy, a lot of construction, infrastructural development is going on right now. And the funny thing about it all is that the part of the country that didn't vote for President Buhari at all is one of the largest beneficiaries of the infrastructural development. In the southeast, a lot of construction is going on. The second Niger bridge is going to, is going to the next phase right now. So I don't see any reason why people should complain. You see, if you want to make an omelette, you have to break some eggs. We have to go through some pain, some suffering. We have to tighten our belts a bit to enjoy, something in the future. It's called delayed gratification. You have to, it's like, I give you a fish right now, and you start biting the fish.
It has to go through a process.
It has to go through a process. You have to actually kill the fish, clean it out, salt it, cook it, fry it or whatever. Then when you eat it, you have a smile on your face. But when you start biting a raw fish, and you feel like, it's not even sweet. Look at what this man gave me. No, my dear, put it through the process. Then you enjoy what I gave you. So that is the issue we have with Nigeria and
Patience,
Nigerians.
actually.
We're not being patient. And if, by any chance, the PDP does not win this, the APC does not win this election, that means the PDP will now start a new set of programs afresh.
Which will just destabilize
It will destabilize the whole thing. Then we'll be back to ground zero. Why should we do that?
It's quite critical.
Very. So I believe Nigerians should just, hold their peace. Let's have another 4 years. 4 years started 2015. It's over now. Another 4 years, then let this man go home and rest. But by the end of that second tenure, 2023, I'm sure this country will be a much better place.
Whoa, that's a good way to end this. Impatience has been the problem, we would say. And so if Nigerians could be patient enough, who knows, we'll get to the promised land. I've been speaking with Muyiwa Olumilua. He is an APC stalwart and a very smooth talker too.
Thank you, Eunice.
Okay, we've come to the end of Issues of the Moment. We do hope you join us same time next time. For now, we say bye.